It's here. Fight of the year. Yes. Fight week. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. You know what's funny? You count down to something. You count down, and before you know it, it's here. It's here. And you know, I've been doing my closer look videos. Check them out. I'll leave them in the description. But here's my breakdown of my prediction. Yes. You know, I got to get my prediction video, and wow, like I say, fight of the year. You got Terence Crawford moving up. Canelo Alvarez, oh, he's going to wake up for this challenge. You better believe it. Canelo Alvarez, he's going to wake up for this challenge. And, you know, this boxing shit, I call it right down the middle. These fighters don't pay me. You know, these fighters don't pay me. Well, I got to be biased. You know, for what? They don't pay me. You know, they start paying me, then I start talking, you know, talking crazy. You be like, yeah, he favored this fighter for sure. You know, but I call it right down the middle for the most part for how I see it, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. Canelo Alvarez, yes. You know, he's the king at 168. You know, he hold it down, you know. But he does have 2 losses. And that's going to come into play in my breakdown, you know, my prediction as well, you know, because he does have 2 losses. And that means something. That definitely does mean something. And Canelo Alvarez, he never, you know, avenged those losses. Never really. He had the chance against people didn't want to, but yes, Terence Crawford, 41-0, 31 KOs. You know, so he doesn't know how to lose, and that plays a big part. You know, when a guy doesn't know how to lose, that plays a huge part. It does, from a psychological standpoint. You know, just from a confidence standpoint. You know, so let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. I feel like both fighters, they're, you know, they might fill each other out for a round, but Canelo Alvarez knows that Terence Crawford, he wants to win this fight more so on points, so he'll get right to it. Look for Canelo Alvarez to press early, you know, definitely on the front foot. And look for Terence Crawford to fight in circles, not running, but fighting, you know, at angles and at circles, you know, circling around Canelo, using different footwork, using different stands, things like that to confuse Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo, he's going to be pressure all night. He's going to be pressure all night. And look for Canelo Alvarez to be lighter on his feet in this fight. Yes, he's known to have, you know, slow feet. Feet could be in mud at times, Canelo Alvarez. So look for him to definitely be lighter on his feet. I know he's been on that jump rope in camp. You know, he's even sparred Boots. You know, a guy that's light on his feet, can move around. So Canelo Alvarez, definitely look for him to be lighter on his feet than we've seen him in the past fights. You know, more so able to go catch guys like he did against Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. Look for Canelo Alvarez to look more in that mode. You know, and look for Terence Crawford to be light on his feet, in and out. You know, look for the popping jabs. Look for the popping jabs, you know, different angles with his punches. You know, Terence Crawford is one of the best boxers that we have that can punch. You don't see the punches. They can come from anywhere. It could be a hook. It could be an uppercut. It could be a jab. You know, Terence Crawford has probably the best punch variety, and they all could be power punches. You know, Terence Crawford. It could be an uppercut. You know, we've seen him knock down Spence with an uppercut. You know, it could be a jab, knock down Spence with a jab. You know, so he has a great punch variety. He does. But one thing I will say, Terence Crawford, he must be careful being wild with his punches, because Canelo Alvarez has the meanest uppercut in the game. Yes, in the sport of boxing. Yes, Canelo Alvarez, that uppercut is mean. So look for Canelo Alvarez to try to land an uppercut when Bud Crawford is, you know, throwing those wild punches. If Terence Crawford gets knocked out, it'll be by uppercut, in my opinion, because he punches wide at times. So if he gets knocked out, look for it to be an uppercut by Canelo Alvarez. And look for Canelo to keep his punches tight. He'll keep his punches tight, compact. You know, he's not going to waste punches. He's not going to waste punches. He's going to be on the front foot. He's not going to waste punches. And look for Bud Crawford to be, like I say, using angles, punching at different angles. And look for him to actually try to work the jab. You know, he actually has the reach advantage over Canelo Alvarez. He has longer arms than Canelo Alvarez. So look for Terence Crawford to actually try to work off the jab. Any fighter that want to establish, you know, anything down the stretch of the fight, you usually establish that jab early to give your opponent something to think about. You know, so look for Terence Crawford to definitely work that jab. And I feel like Terence Crawford, he's gonna pick up as the fight goes on. Canelo Alvarez, lately he's been known not to, just totally wear down, but he tends to slow down. He hasn't been able to press on the gas and be able to stop guys. And people can say, oh, he didn't want to stop guys, this or that. Boxers always say they don't get paid for overtime. So if he could have stopped them, he would have stopped them. But he hasn't been able to press on that gas lately. And Terence Crawford, he actually calculates data and gets better as the fight weighs on. Yes, so I look for Terence Crawford to actually, Canelo Alvarez may press early, win some rounds, but I look for Terence Crawford later on in the fight to actually start boxing, from different angles, really light on his feet, really having the stamina, to go more than actually 12 rounds. I think Bud Crawford's stamina is going to be crazy in this fight. I do. I think his stamina is going to be crazy. And I look for him to actually pick up on his power punches actually later on in the fight. Yes, power punches later on in the fight, and faster hand speed later on in the fight, and faster footwork, everything. You're gonna see a big difference in this fight, I say after round 6, 7. You will, especially down the stretch. You're gonna see a big difference. And Terence Crawford, him never taking a loss, that plays a big part, definitely in my prediction, because it's hard to see a guy lose that's pound for pound the best that's never lost. Both of these guys are pound for pound guys, but I got Bud Crawford, winning the fight. This is tough. This was a tough fight. This was a tough fight to call. It was just like the Spence Crawford, 50-50. It's tough to call, but I got Crawford, outboxing, outwilling Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez, if he does win, I feel like it'd be by a knockout, that uppercut. 50-50 fight though, tough to call, but that's my breakdown. That's my prediction, with this fight. Fight of the year, September 13th, baby. I'm locked in, cold my, reaction to the fight. So, comment, like, subscribe though. Let me know what y'all think. Big fight this weekend. Get in the comments. Let me know who y'all got. Best way you can help, share the video as always. I'm gonna keep the fire content coming. I'm gonna keep it rolling, baby. We're gonna knock another one out. Bah, bah, bah. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen. Down,